This is exactly how to get rich in crypto without getting lucky, because you cannot rely on luck anymore. Luck is not repeatable. Let's say you make money once, you catch one good move, you buy the right coin at the right time through sheer fluke and convince yourself that you're a genius. But if you don't know why it worked and you cannot repeat it, the market will eventually take it all back. So the goal of this video is not to get lucky. The goal of this video is to get to a point where every time that you click a button, you can be pretty damn certain that you are going to make money. And you can do that by building a real skill. Because if you build a real skill in crypto, it doesn't matter where your starting balance is. You could lose all of your money, but you can never lose the skill. And if you still have the skill, you can repeat the result again and again and again. And I learned this lesson in the most expensive way possible. I went from absolutely no money working in a factory to making millions of dollars in crypto in a couple of years. But I had this $5 million stolen from me overnight in an exchange collapse. And instead of disappearing, revenge trading, or blaming the market, I used this repeatable system that works in crypto cycle after cycle to make it all back and more. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why two people can buy the same coin in the same market and somehow one of them changes their life while the other person still loses money. Because one of those people has a system behind the decision. The other person is just copying, trying to catch the outcome without understanding the reason why it worked. So I'm going to show you the 3 stages you need to follow if you want to get rich in crypto without relying on luck. But the first thing you need to understand is that most people in crypto are completely random. Let's say you're scrolling Twitter and you see a post with a lot of likes, and suddenly you feel that rush of FOMO. So you click buy. Then some time passes and then the trade moves against you. So now you have 2 choices. You either sell your position because you get scared, or you hold because you don't want to accept the losses. So from the outside, it might look like you're investing, but you're just reacting to the tweets, to the candles, to the fear, to the hype, to what everyone else is doing. And this is why so many people get emotionally controlled by their portfolio. Because when it goes up, you feel like a genius, but when it goes down, you feel like the market is rigged against you. The real problem is simple. You do not have set rules to protect your capital when the trade goes against you. And when the trade works, you still don't understand why it worked. So you lack the ability to repeat the result again and again and again. And at the end of the day, crypto is actually very simple when you strip it all back. It's only the noise that makes it hard. All of the influences, the screenshots, the panic, the fear, all of the emotions, the new coins, all of this pulls you away from the things that actually matter. And if you don't have a system that you can simply follow, your emotions become the strategy. And this is why 99% of people don't leave crypto rich. It's not because there is not enough opportunity, there is so much opportunity. Crypto is creating the biggest opportunities of a lifetime right now. But the problem is when the opportunity appears, most people either don't recognize it or they recognize it and still don't know what to do with it. So stage 1 is learning the actual skill. And you need to ask yourself these questions to get to a skill. Why this coin? Why right now? How much money should you put into it? Where do you take profit? And what are you going to do if the trade moves against you? And then what are you going to do if it works better than expected? As I've already said, 2 people can buy the exact same coin and come out with completely different outcomes. One person buys early, understands why he's in, so he sizes it properly. And then he sells and takes profit into strength. Whereas the other person is going to buy late and then he panic sells on the first dip. He holds when he should sell and sells when he should hold. And then he says that the market is rigged against him and everything is a scam. This is why you cannot just copy somebody what they post on Twitter, because you don't know what their plan is. You don't know how much they're risking. You don't know where their entry is, and you definitely don't know their exit. And you definitely don't know whether you are copying their opportunity or you are becoming their exit liquidity. And this skill starts with something most people in crypto never think about. Before you learn what to buy, you need to learn what to ignore and not to buy. Because now there are hundreds and thousands of coins being made every single day right now. And if every coin can get your attention to make you put money into it, every coin can take your money. And if you have no real reason to understand why it is going to pump right now, then it is probably not an opportunity. It's just another thing trying to take your capital away from you before you actually make the decisions that move you closer to getting rich. Then, once you know what not to touch, such. The next question becomes, what market condition are you actually in? Is it the bull market, a bear market, or is it going sideways? Because if you apply the same strategy at all of the time, it will not work in every single market condition. And this is where most people get confused, because the decision can look right on the surface and then still be completely wrong underneath, because buying dips in a bull market will make you rich. Buying dips in a bear market, well, the dips keeps dipping and your portfolio is going to bleed to death. And that means you can do the exact same thing in a completely different environment and get completely different results. And after that, the hardest skill is knowing when to do absolutely nothing. And this is where most beginners struggle, because they want constant action. They want to feel like they're doing something all of the time. They want to click buttons. They want the excitement. They want it to happen fast. But sometimes the best trade is no trade. And that sounds boring to people who need constant excitement. So if you want to build a strategy that consistently works, you need to track the trades that you take, write down why you took the trade, what market condition you were in when you took that trade, how much money you used, where you exited, and whether it worked or not. Then you simply stop taking the trades that caused the largest losses. And this massively moves the needle on your portfolio to the upside. Then you look through all of your wins and double down on them. And if you see the same setup happening again, you risk more on that position. So that means you make even more on your winners. And this is how you remove the element of luck, because you built a system that you can actually use and see in the market. And that leads us to stage number 2, because once you stop trying to trade everything in all market conditions, how do you find the opportunities that are actually worth touching before you are too late? Because you need to be early. You could buy the best coin in the world, but if you are too late, you are still going to lose money. And this is what most people do not understand. You think the game is just buying the right coin, buying it and becoming rich, but finding the coin is only one part of it. And picking good coins is actually the easy part. You also need the right timing, because if retail are already here, if everyone on Twitter is already screaming about the token and the coin, if the chart has already gone vertical and done 10, 20, 30x, who is left to buy your coin higher? And that is why being late is actually so dangerous, because you only get paid by being early. And if you are late, you will end up buying the dip that just keeps dipping. And this is why you should not have a lot of coins in your portfolio. You do not need to hold 10 different coins. You are going to make far more money by holding 1 or 2 coins with real conviction than holding 10 random coins and hoping one of them saves you. And before I buy those 1 or 2 coins, I understand why I am buying them. And you should ask yourself these questions. Why does this coin matter? Why right now? Has the move already happened? So I look at the current market cap, then I look at realistically where it can sit on the CoinGecko list. And from there, I can work out the multiplier of from where it is to where it can go. Then I can answer whether there is enough upside for the risk to make sense. And if I cannot answer those questions, I leave the coin alone, because otherwise I rely on luck. And I do not care if somebody's just posted with a massive screenshot of a massive win. And this is why you are going to make far more money with 1 or 2 strong coins than 10 random coins where you are relying on luck. Because imagine you're trying to hit a bullseye and then you take a shotgun and blast it 30 times. This is a completely different game than from lining it up with 1 clean sniper shot straight down the bullseye. And this is the same with buying loads of different coins, let alone managing 10 different coins and 10 different positions. Let me show you of an example before it went over 20x. This was when Solana was around $16 and I told everyone to buy. Most people thought the chain was completely finished, the ecosystem was dead, and the risk of buying was simply too high. But that is exactly why I told everyone to buy, because in a typical crypto market cycle, the best opportunities appear after price has spent months accumulating in a range. And this is where most people have lost interest. The opportunity is not in something that has gone up already 20 to 30x, and everyone is now suddenly calling this the next Bitcoin. By that stage, a huge part of the move has already happened. The real opportunity is when the market is priced in the most of fear. Price is moving sideways, and then the conditions start to shift underneath. And with Solana at the time, it was not some dead coin from last cycle like AVAX with the momentum and everyone had no reason to buy it anymore and it disappeared. So what you need to do is it still needs to have a little hope. It cannot just be completely dead, because accumulation looks different to absolute disappearance off the face of the earth. And this is where you can be early, you can be right, and you can still make no real money. Because finding the coin is not enough. Being early is not enough, and being right is not enough. Because if you do not have enough size on the position to make a significant difference to your portfolio, then how are you going to make money? This is where lots of people mess up. If you are spread across 10 different coins, by default, you only put a small amount of money in each coin. And then when one of them pumps, you do not make any real money. You can buy a coin, watch it go up 5x, tell everyone you called it, and it still has barely moved your portfolio. Great, you were right. Nobody cares. The money in your portfolio didn't change. And the right size means the position is big enough to actually matter, but not big enough that one mistake can wipe your portfolio. So before I put any money into a position, I always ask these three things. How strong is the setup? How much upside is there realistically left? Where am I wrong? This one is key. And if the trade works, does the position actually move my portfolio in a positive way? This is where you need to be honest with yourself. If the opportunity is average, you do not need to force size into it. If you barely understand why you're buying it and it is purely a gamble, then do not put serious money behind the trade. Okay, maybe a few $100s is okay because every person has a gambler's itch from time to time. So by asking these questions, you decide what the trade is worth before the market starts playing with your head and your emotions. And this is also why you need an exit strategy before you even enter a position. Because if you do not know where you are selling it, you do not have a trade. You are simply relying on luck. And this is why most people only think about clicking the green button. What coin should I buy? What price should I buy at? Is this the next 10x? But they were never thinking about where they are taking profit. And that is absolutely insane because the exit is where the money becomes absolutely real. Until then, it's just sitting on numbers on a screen. You can be up 6 figures, you could be up 7 figures on a single trade. You could feel hypothetically rich for a few months. But if you do not know where to sell, where to move your money, and how to stop yourself from giving all of the money back, none of this matters. And crypto is a game of cycles. You're not here to fall in love with your coins forever, apart from Bitcoin. You're here to understand where you are in the cycle, make money while there is opportunity, then protect that money when the conditions change, and then wait for the next opportunity. Because the same coin can be a great buy in one part of the cycle and then a terrible hold in another part of the cycle. This is what people do not understand. A coin can make you rich on the way up, but it can make you extremely poor on the way down. And the coin didn't even change, but the market conditions changed, the cycle changed, and then you did nothing. You thought it could just stay the same. So you need a plan before things pump, before you freeze at the top, and then give all of your money back. This is how you get rich and stay rich for good without having to rely on luck. Now you could say, okay, Biss, maybe it works for you because you've been in crypto for 9 years. And I would believe you, but that argument only works if I'm the only person getting results from this strategy. Because if students from different starting points can all apply the same principles and produce real results, then the system is no longer just theory, it is repeatable. Because Kaizen went from $1,000 to $100,000 in 45 days and then scaled to 7 figures in a single year. Pierre here, this cycle went from less than $10,000 to $111,000 in 90 days. And Mrs. Chips came in with no crypto background and built her 7-figure goal. So no, I do not believe this is luck, because luck does not repeat itself across different people, different backgrounds, and different starting points. Only systems do this. And this is exactly why you should apply to join the 7-figure BISBTC inner circle. You get to see every single trade that I am taking, the thinking behind them, why I am positioned that way, the education behind those decisions, the calls, the one-on-one access with me, and the structure to stop guessing and start understanding the market properly. Because the goal is not to win once, that's easy. The goal is to become the type of person who can win again and again and again, cycle after cycle. Crypto is only luck when you do not know what you're doing. Once you have the system, it becomes execution. And if you want to learn that system directly, apply below at apply.bisbtc.com. And that is all for this video. I will see you in the next one.